All right, so Jund Dinosaurs. This is an archetype that we've played a number of times before on stream. That Carnage Tyrant's one of the best cards in Standard currently, right? Like, this is just one of the best cards in the format, and being able to play this card ahead of curve is very, very good. This build today is leaning into 3 copies of Drover of the Mighty to give us 11 pieces of ramp in the main deck, which is sweet. You have a lot more turn 4 Carnage Tyrants when you have 11 pieces of ramp. So that's a lot of fun. We're basically a mono green deck with 2 splashes. We have a black splash for Finality as well as sideboard cards and cast down, and we have a red splash for Regisaur Alpha. And access to Thunderherd Migration and Drover the Mighty enable our splash pretty seamlessly. Let's go ahead and jump in and do this. Good morning, Marty. You just missed Grixis Birds, Marty. We just finished with it. It was the first thing we did today. Hope you're glad to hear you had a safe trip. I mean, you could just play a forest and some unclaimed territories, Cobalt. It's not that much worse. I am ready to Dino Smash some folks. My body is ready. The Magic Online Championship Series event crashed this morning, and then the makeup event had issues too. So now they're having a makeup for the makeup. Am I going to Indy next month? No, I don't really play Paper Magic anymore. And driving through the Midwest in the winter is like a recipe for disaster. A lot of snow and stuff. Actually have a really good start here, right? We get to attack for 1 here. Next turn I go Forest, Ripjaw Raptor, attack for 3. And the following turn I get to slam Carnage Tyrant. It's a Dino mirror match. I'm thinking a Swamp here could be a literal mirror. Oh, Naya Dinos. Okay, Naya Dinos saw some play. Had success in a Magic Online event. Oh, it's a team tournament? Yeah, 0% to play a team tournament. I am not a fan of team tournaments. So next turn's like attack for 4, play Carnage Tyrant. Gosh, if we'd have been on the play, they wouldn't have a chance here because they were on the play. Treasure map, that bodes well for us. I'll go ahead and do this. Smack for 4. Yeah, I agree, Dimir Spy. Team tournaments are kind of like we've eaten nothing but candy for our last 12 meals, right? Like, they were really sweet at first, and now it's just like, oh, more sugar. Like, every once in a while, a team tournament was fine, but just like every event being a team tournament kind of gets annoying. All right, so what do I want to do here? I think it's Brontodon out and at least 2 trophies in. Do I want more trophies on the draw? Fine, Finality is probably kind of mediocre. It's like good for picking our dinos up after we trade in combat, but Matt otherwise. Maybe Vivien Reid's not fantastic either. Vivien's probably better than Find, actually. Let's try this. Easy mulligan. Well, sure. Player made me go through all the clicks when I got my Jeskai control going. I mean, if you don't want to go through the clicks, you shouldn't play the deck. Yeah, our 5 into 6 curve is gonna be quite excellent. Might just get run over because we're on the draw without ramp. So once upon a time, I thought team tournaments were a great idea because you get to play all the formats, so everybody gets to watch a little bit of everything. But the more that I've stayed home and watched team tournaments, I think they actually do the inverse of that. They're like, it's like a format that's trying to satisfy everyone. And sorry, while trying to please everyone, they kind of please no one. So like, there aren't a lot of people that want to watch all 3 formats, right? So like, when you pair the fact that it's all 3 formats with how much downtime those events tend to have, it just like gets a little awkward. All right, so the fact that I drew the Alpha on turn 3 could mean that we're okay here. It depends on how good the rest of their hand is. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and Ripjaw Raptor here since it blocks all of their stuff profitably. This 4/5 is just like a king among dinos on this board. Trophy over Contempt from the sideboard. Yeah, Trophy's more mana efficient, and it kills a wider range of permanents, Modest. It's also easier to cast. Occasionally, black can be difficult. This puts me to 5, which leaves me dead to a Banefire, but I think I want to take this hit so I can Carnage Tyrant next turn. Maybe I'm supposed to chump and just play this next turn. This does leave me dead to a Banefire, though. That's awkward. That's super punishing for the line that I took there. I'm surprised they left Clarion in post-board against us. Man, if I would have blocked with the elf, they'd have been really bad, really poor off. All right, well, we are ahead at the moment here. Our hand's really bad, though. And hand got less bad. Kiki Cord because we're worth it. What's going on, Alex? Thanks for the biddies. I appreciate the support. Thanks for using the charity hashtag as well. This sequencing was bad on my part. I should have attacked before playing the Carnage Tyrant, so that way they have to choose whether or not they want to double block before they know this is coming into play. There's a little bit medium sequencing on my part. Big Dino Smash. I assume we're gonna see a double block on at least one of these. Yeah, we've been running good, for sure. Like trade that off there, and then next turn we like slam this with the Regisaurus and crush them. Yeah, the Regisaur Alpha gives all other dinosaurs you control haste, which is quite appealing. So if I attack with everything and they double block here, single block here, they take 10. So they have to go block, 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 take 10. I think they're dead. Hey, Silence Beck, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And they go block, block, block. And this is 11. They're losing at least 2 Brontodons no matter how they cut this. Yeah. Got him. Really surprised they left Deafening Clarion on their deck. Maybe they didn't really know what we were doing. I don't know, I guess they saw what we were doing, kind of. Big Dino Smash. Hey, what's going on, Zeramas? Thanks for the 27-month resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Like, not amazing, but I think it's the range of keepable. Sideboarding super easy. You just cut all the bad cards and you put in all the good cards. How was the Grixis deck? Grixis deck's fine. We played that deck a few times before in the past. It's got some chops to it. Feels reasonable. Llanowar Elves, Saprolings Migration. Right on time ramp spell. So they have black in their deck. Is this our first cards I own deck of the morning? All right. It's a draft staple, I guess. Saproling Tribal looks like. Yeah, looks like a Golgari Saprolings deck. It's a real card. Vivien's a good pickup, so I only have 4 in play. I'm just gonna play Vivien and plus her here.
No one knows the wilds like I do.
Drover sounds great. It's a lot of tokens. So we'd like to draw Finality for the turn and then draw a land off of Vivien.
So it's going to be like that, huh? Come to me.
What desk do I have? I have an uplift desk, but I would not recommend it. The electronics in it have been giving me some issues. It like randomly stops going up and goes back down when I press my preset sometime that I've only had it for a year. It was the cheapest brand of standing desk for a reason. Hey, Talran, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Wow, that's good. Run back some big dub dinos. Keep the rage coming. Will do. The screen overlay is broken this morning. That's incredibly good. Need to draw a removal spell or a Finality here ASAP. Oh, I have a Territorial Allosaurus. Yeah, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So if I don't block this, I take 6 and go to 8. Yeah, I think that's fine.
I've seen squirrels hit harder. I'm not losing everything again.
So if they don't have another good payoff here, we'll be in an okay spot. This is my Chupacabra, my Dino Cabra. I wonder if it's possible I want a 4th Finality in my sideboard for matches like this. I think that's potentially something that I want. Put a 1/1 counter on one target creature, destroy target creature. For each creature in your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Sure. Sure. That is not a copy of Finality. That is the Planeswalker deck Vraska. This game is a good example of why I would consider not playing this deck on Tuesday. So like this deck and decks like it tend to, these decks don't beat their opponents don't really beat them. It's like sometimes you draw well and sometimes you don't draw well. Whenever a Saproling dies, so we're just dead. We're dead to the Slimefoot. Is this the Golgari deck everybody says the best in Standard? Yes, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Vivien seems less than ideal. Find Finality is fantastic. Thrashing Brontodon seems a little bit medium. Probably don't need all 4 trophies. Give this a go. Yeah, ramp decks either kinda do their thing or not. I'd love to play first. Thank you for asking. Seems like not amazing, but it's fine. Has traditional play been frustrating for you? It's my experience. Seems like a lot of worse decks before. So the MMR reset. So this is actually the first cards I own deck that we've played against today. But there have been a lot of other cards I own decks recently. It's definitely much worse than the latter was previously. No, I don't think Duress, this is definitely not a Duress matchup. Duress is for the counterspell matchups. Play my 5/5 out here. Might wait to try and play this elf till after the Finality hits. Hopefully just like draw running lands the next 2 turns here. Alright, into the forest you go, little elves. Yeah, I don't know why they felt the need to default everyone's MMR. I feel like you could have left that there. I feel like another good solution is that if they wanted to default people's MMR, they should do deck strength matchmaking for everybody under a certain number of games. So that way, basically, there's some balancing mechanic there, even if it's not a perfect one, until you haven't played enough games to have a reasonable MMR defined. I'm gonna get aggressive here and just try and beat through them. This thing's got trample. Get a little frisky. Luca Dog, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employee here. I would like to keep this one, please. Goodbye to all the other friends. MMR is per player. MMR resets make new and bad players happy because they feel they can rank up to where they think they belong. MMR is matchmaking reading. It's a method used to pair people against each other. Play this Death Gorge Scavenger. Exile a creature, gain some health, attack for 9. I just exile a non-creature spell, actually attack for 10 here. This Dorko's got haste. Oh, and it gets to exile another one. Sweet. I'm gonna gain some health on this one. They're probably chumping. So Trophy is lethal here. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Just gonna run it back. I think I want a fourth. I'm gonna slide a fourth Finality into the sideboard after this, so we can have another way to grind. Yeah, it seems fine. I get to go Dragonskull into this. The sweet thing about Drover the Mighty with Finality is that if we keep a dinosaur out that lives through the Finality, like our Ripjaws, Drover the Mighty can get counters placed on it, which lets it live through the Finality as well, which is sweet. So we get to curve Drover into Ripjaw. I'll probably skip playing Regisaur Alpha on 4 if that's an option, so that way it doesn't die to my Finality. Yeah, matches like this, they just feel bad, right? Because, like, my opponent's obviously a newer player, and, like, I feel like it kind of feels like I'm wasting my time playing against their pile of just random cards that they own, but, like, I can't just concede the match if I want to, like, build my ranking up, so that way I can eventually get matches that are meaningful. Alright, if they don't have anything in play, I guess I am playing the Regisaur Alpha. Nah, I'm just gonna do this since I drew it. Yeah, I ended up cutting it after the last time we played it Bugly. It felt really clunky and awkward. I've been pulling deck lists off the website as they feel bad as I play more of the format. Is it still 50 for a standard builder? I think it is Chef Seth. Is it? Maybe I could do less than that. I like doing standard builds around. We are still playing against green-black sacrifice cards I own .deck. Just gonna go ahead and Finality and clear this Tender Shoot Dryad out. That's not how games with variants by design work, Modest. Distinction, thank you for the 8-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Like, it's technically possible for, like, a draft deck to beat a legacy deck on occasion. Doesn't mean it's going to happen all the time, but it'll happen some of the time. Hey, Turkey Sloth, thanks for the 7 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. You want to make Scape Shift work in Standard? There isn't anything that can make Scape Shift work in Standard. It's just not a standard playable card. Alright, how far off are they? They're gonna hit City's Blessing for this really soon. Maybe I was a little bit too aggressive on my Finality. Put this towards an eventual Narset Cannon 5-0. Thanks for the support, Recon Bravo. I appreciate it. They're dead, right? Because every one of my creatures is lethal. They have 5 blockers for my 5 attackers, and my Carnage Tyrant has trample. So they can put 1 blocker on each of my things, and they die to trample from the Carnage Tyrant. And if they double block the Carnage Tyrant, they die to the Llanowar Elves. Alright, I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick. And when I get back, we're gonna play some more Gen Dinos. Thanks everyone for hanging out today. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday wherever you're at. Hey, Vorsmith, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. I'll be right back, folks. Thanks for hanging out today. Fourth Finality, good call. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, what am I cutting from the board for the fourth Finality? Eldest Reborn? I'm gonna cut an Eldest Reborn. I think the deck's just too soft to Carnage Tyrant, Rolf, is the primary issue with Grixis Dragons. Which means you're like really bad against all of the green-black decks that exist in the format. Deal. Alright, it's a good pickup. Let's play that on 3 now. If we get curve 3-4, we could probably race a lot of the draws that the Drake deck can have. No blocks. Since Dinos is traditionally Naya, when Blood Crypt and Sappy Guards release a Jetter, would you consider going 4 colors? No, I don't think so. Taking all that damage from your lands is meh. And like traditionally Naya, like there haven't been any successful dinosaur decks. So like when you're saying like traditionally Naya, you're just like making stuff up. Dinosaurs isn't traditionally anything in this format. I wonder if I'm supposed to hold the Regisaur Alpha for a turn to possibly Finality the turn after to keep my Territorial Allosaurus and my Drover. No attack stars and strings. So I guaranteed hit my land here. Yeah, like the 3/3 doesn't attack profitably into the Enigma Drake anyways. I'm just gonna go ahead and attack with this. Yeah, that's also correct, right? Like we're gonna get Rakdos and Gruul cards, which likely slot into this archetype. Just discarded another Phoenix. Hopefully they tap out and put the Phoenixes back into play this turn. This is awkward. They're killing my Allosaurus, which means my Drover is going to die to this Finality next turn. That's unfortunate. Definitely just have to Finality next turn though, right? Like not close. I'm taking a lot of damage here. And unfortunately, because my dinosaur died, my Drover can't be saved there because he's only a 1/1 instead of a 3/3. If they can put the Phoenixes back into play, we're dead here, obviously. That's a big one. That's a lethal one, yep. If I chump with the Drover, I can't cast the Finality Mr. Nubtack Stick. Finality costs 9 or 6. So bring in the trophies and the Death Gorges. Trim a Carnage Tyrant seems fine. Get a little of the clunk out of the trunk. Sure, like there's Naya colored dinosaurs, but like in order for something to be traditional, it has to exist, right? So like there isn't really a traditional, there isn't a dinosaurs deck in the format. Best card in standard? I don't know. Probably Visitor Carnage Tyrant. Those are like the 2 threats to beat, right? Those are present in like most of the good decks in the format. Man, is the World Magic Cup Finals still going? Is it best of 5? It just finished up? I think it just finished up. I went live during the second semifinal, so I figured they'd be done in like an hour, so like they're finishing up 2 hours later. No, I'm not planning to play any dinosaurs today, Gibbon. My lands are a little awkward here because I need to get a second forest, but this forest doesn't make Dragonskull Summit come into play untapped, unfortunately. Oh, you know what? That was a mistake. I should have played Drover on 2 because then my next turn I could... Yeah, if I would have played Drover on 2, I could have played 2 2-mana spells this turn, right? Because I could have gone, use the Drover to go get... Yeah, I think I should have used the Drover. I don't think Pirates is good enough against some of the fringe decks in the format. I think Pirates is really good against Green, Black, and Jeskai, but a tournament like the one that's happening on Tuesday where there's a bunch of people playing in it that normally don't play Standard means that there's going to be a lot of variety in what people are playing. So... And honestly, like, the fact that I was playing a deck that's, like, good against Green, Black, and Jeskai, like, kind of bit me at the Invitational. Like, I went 1-3 with the deck and I died to Big Red twice. This is a mix of the two, Cardboard Nomad. This is a deck we've been working on stream for a little while now. It did been a Phoenix. It's unfortunate. Welcome to everybody that's coming over from the what's it called stream. Wow, they didn't have anything to flip the bird back. That's good for us. Everybody that's coming over from the World Cup stream, thanks for hanging out today. Welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of decks that are strong against Green, Black. This format's just very varied, however. There's a lot of different things going on in this format. Talking about spoilers before we have the entire spoiler is kind of pointless. The power level of Magic cards is format contextual. It's impossible to know what card's going to be playable and what cards aren't going to be playable without having a complete picture. And we just don't have a complete picture until we have the whole set. I've not decided yet, the wiki. Well, based on that jump block there, I should have waited. I could draw an untapped lands here. I just assumed they were going to take 4. What a tilt. So, if I would have played the Swamp there, I could have played this Drover as well. So, pretty poor sequencing on my part there. Should have attacked first and then played my land. It's Lethal. Thanks for the 11 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So next turn, I get to Allosaurus, eat one of these Drakes, hopefully, if they don't have 2 spells. Then we get to smash in with my Ripjaw Raptors. They can't attack with both of these, because then they're dead. I'd like to kick this. This is a picture on my Twitter of a bunch of the different board games that I enjoy, Rod. I think I'm happy with how I boarded. I'm gonna go ahead and click submit. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday wherever you're at in the world. If you're new to the stream, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here 30, 40, 50 hours a week. We play nothing but constructed Magic pretty much. We play a ton of Standard here on Magic Arena. I also play Modern on Magic Online. So if you find yourself enjoying the content, make sure you hit that follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll let you know when I go live and with what. Is Galta too situational for this deck? Galta's a win more card. It's a card that's only good when you have a bunch of power in play. And if you have a bunch of power in play, you're probably winning anyways. New Lexicon, thanks for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the third of the year. I think this is fine. It's hard to pass up like double ramp spell, right? I'm like Death Gorge Scavenger could theoretically like eat a Phoenix to disrupt them. Could I get my 4-month timeout? Of course, Wolfwood. Thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate it. I am a professional Magic player. I play Magic for my profession. In fact, depending on how you define professional, I'm more of a professional than a lot of people that play on the Pro Tour. Being a Magic pro doesn't pay your bills. Streaming on Twitch pays my bills. This is my full-time job. That's why I'm here as often as I am. Magic's great, and I played a lot of Magic even when I wasn't streaming full-time, but the reason why I'm here streaming full-time is because it pays my bills. I mean, now there will be with the for 32 people, 32 people will now be able to call themselves Magic professionals who couldn't previously. But that's not everybody on the Mythic Championship or Pro Tour, whatever you want to call it. And I am by no means worried about getting some kind of contract from Wizards of the Coast. The community pays my bills. They're great. So if I Death Gorge Scavenger and target the Radical idea, my opponent will just jumpstart the Radical idea in response. There's no real reason to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and ramp up here into the Carnage Tyrant. Hey, Max, thanks for the 33 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Kill it with fire. And we're a self-sufficient nation here in Hoaglandia. Big dumb dinos. Bum 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 bum. Hey, Psychologist, thanks for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I mean, that's some nonsense, James Jones. Like, crude generalizations about entire groups of people are just hot nonsense and aren't welcome here. I think I'm just gonna play this and leave the trophy up here. Maybe this is playing too conservative. I've always stuck to standard, but are you currently using any cards legal in standard and competitive modern decks? Yeah, there's a bunch of cards in the standard format that translate to modern. In fact, the Arclight Phoenix is one of the new up-and-coming decks in modern. Think they'll ever do modern on Magic Arena? Nope. Be very surprised if modern ever came to Magic Arena. Wow, are we double burn spelling my Ripjaw Raptor? That's so good for me. I would love to draw a couple cards, thanks. Deal. Really glad I didn't play Regisaur Alpha. Big dumb dinos. Bum 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 bum. Thanks for the board game, Rex Rod. Thanks for the bits. And thanks for using the charity hashtag. I appreciate that. Should keep me employed here. Okay, down to 3. Go ahead. We're at 18 and we have Assassin's Trophy up, so we should be insulated from anything craziness with Drakes and Maximized Velocity happening this turn. Yeah, not only just Ross has been winning with the Arclight deck, but the Arclight deck was actually one of the best performing archetypes from the Grand Prix and the Invitational last weekend. Just like in general, not just in Ross's hands. Probably should have started streaming slightly later today. We picked up a bunch of people after the World Cup ended. I was just home and ready to play Magic. Hey, Rhino McGrath, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome, welcome. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Yeah, the Drover of the Mighties have felt really good in this deck. Your hands that don't involve a ramp spell are kind of mediocre, so like having 11 ramp spells feels really good. There's just like potential turn 3 Regisaur Alpha if they don't interact with our dorks. I think Llanowar Elves might be dead here though. Doesn't bode well for our friend. And Morning Tom. If this is dead, I actually don't have a red source for this alpha, which is pretty awkward here. All right, never didn't have it. Let's just draw spells from here on out. Could be Drakes, could be blue-red control of some sort. Yeah, that's definitely true, Pokemon Nerd. They have a counterspell? It might be blue-red control. Risk factor. Sure. That's an interesting card to have in their deck. Maybe putting this into play untapped was silly this turn, because now I have to shock for the Regisaur's next turn. Should I buy all of one set or a couple from each? I think you should buy all of one set, Project Swamp. I would recommend, depending on how much money you're putting, I'd recommend your first, like, 90 to 140, 135 packs be just Guilds of Ravnica, because that's the set that has all the shock lands in it. That's the best one to start with, I think. Until you have like most of the shock lands pieced together, I would just buy a bunch of guilds. And then after guilds, depending on if you're putting in more than that, I would probably pick up Dominaria. Yeah, guilds will also be legal the longest, right? Like Dominaria is technically gonna rotate at some point. Really just want to draw some more threats here. Thunderherd Migration, that's kind of like a threat. Dino Smash. We are not playing Community Dinos in this build. We played that in some earlier iterations. It was kind of clunky. It just like found land too often. Wasn't a threat enough of the time. See if they have a Spell Pierce or a Dive Down. It's possible I'm supposed to wait till my turn to play this since I have so many lands. Allow me to play around Spell Pierce. Yeah, not playing around Spell Pierce there is kind of loose and probably a mistake. Worn and Furious. Well, I mean, like, we're ahead on board, but Flood Screw generally beats Flood. Like, they have a Beacon Bolt to kill my 3/3 here. We need to draw Carnage Tyrant sooner rather than later. Or like a Vivien. In my opinion, I believe you stated when you were previously in teaching, I think due to that, and you're a good player, it's the best channel to watch and learn from. Well, thanks, Veg. I appreciate that. Thanks for the kind words. I definitely feel like I leverage my teaching background in this job. I know this is how I envisioned using my teaching degree, but it's a fun way to use it. I assume we're gonna get risk factored here down to 10. I mean, and this is the problem with a ramp deck, right? So like our deck only has 25 lands in it, but our deck has 4 Drover of the Mighty, 4 Thunderherd Migration, and Llanowar Elves. So like our deck is like 36 mana sources. There's gonna be plenty of games where we flood out like this. I think the deck's fine if you want to beat up Green, Black, and Jeskai. I think you can struggle against the white-based decks in the format, but I've known that. So, Tokens was kind of popular at the Invitational, so if there's a lot of tokens, I wouldn't want to play the blue-black deck, but aside from tokens, I think most things are winnable. If they Beacon Bolt this, I like get to draw a card, so it's like not the end of the world. It's actually one of our better threats that wasn't Carnage Tyrant. Would really love to draw like a Vivien or a Carnage Tyrant here, just start generating advantage. And this card's probably unbeatable for them. I'm gonna hold on to this for now. Yeah, the problem is the curve in this deck is higher than, nice blue-red deck. The curve in this deck is higher than most green-black decks. So, like, you need to hit your land drops with this deck or you're going to die is the issue. I don't know what exactly my opponent's doing. I guess they're playing Drakes. Do I want trophies because they're playing Drakes? I don't know exactly how many Drakes they're playing, though. I don't know if they're playing Phoenix or not. Maybe the Scavengers aren't very good and I just leave a couple of finds in for some grind. Seems fine. Let's see how this goes. I caught some of the leaks, but not all of them, I don't think. If you're mentioning something some Simic Ascendancy, I don't know what that card does. I saw the instant speed explore. Card seems fine. There's a mono white token stack. I'm not aware that there's a mono white token stack. I'm not sure why you wouldn't play with green cards in it. Never didn't have it. We like get to this card on curve or ahead of curve, they're probably just dead. These are my dinos. There are many like them and they are all large. Another land, sign me up. See if they have like a negate or a syncopate here. Been enjoying your content the last 3 months. Hope your closing goes well. I do that for a living. I know they can be a nightmare sometimes. Yeah, we're having some issues with some of the paperwork, so hopefully everything works out. We'll see. At least we're thankfully like not on a time crunch to get out of our existing house, which is nice. So if things end up having issues, we're not just screwed, which is great. As far as I'm aware, we do not know what Spectacle does currently. Well, if we draw land here, this hand is just absurd. Yeah, if I was the only source of income for my family, we probably wouldn't be able to get a loan. But my wife works the traditional 9-to-5 job for a major insurance company, so we won't have an issue with that. That part of it is not the issue we're having. Yeah, having to explain why like you make like 25 or 50% less 1 month to the next month is like not something normal people understand. My job is strange. Do I want to jam Vivien into a counterspell here? I don't think so. I'm just gonna put this into play tapped and pass. They're pretty likely to have a counter. And like, if I put these Carnage Tyrants into play, there's a chance that like they have to tap out to beat the Carnage Tyrant, and then when they're tapped out to beat the Carnage Tyrant, I can stick the Vivien. I have no idea how difficult or easy it is to get a contract like that, Telv. And honestly, I don't really need a contract, right? Like, I already stream Magic full-time for a living. I currently have a little over 2,000 subscribers, which is, you know, more than adequate to live in the cornfields where I'm at. Why do I want to trophy the tower? I don't really care about the tower. Like, what are they gonna do to my Carnage Tyrant with the detection tower? It's not like they have cast down in their deck. I'm glad that WotC is expanding their stuff and like giving people a chance to like play a bunch of Magic for a living. But like, I just can't help but like kind of laugh a little bit when the people say things like, oh, I always wanted to do this but never could. It's like, well, you could have always streamed on Twitch. Like, streaming on Twitch is literally free. And now I get to go ahead and stick Vivien here while they're tapped out. It might even be right to stick the other Carnage Tyrant, but doing this while they're tapped down seems appealing. Attack here. Just catching up on YouTube. Really appreciate what you're doing for us last week. Hey, Chucky Chuckson. Yeah, the YouTube exclusives have been going over really well. That's true. They could have the what's it called? Whatever that card's called. Kill all the dinos.
The wilds are my shield.
I mean, they're still 2 mana off a Star of Extinction, right? Right? Like they only have 5 lands. Oh, Electromancer changes the calculus. Yeah, that's fair. They missed a land drop last turn though, right? Should have pushed my chips into the table here. I like have a third Carnage Tyrant even if they have the star, so go. It'll be interesting to see how many of the top 32 from the Twitch thing end up actually streaming, because like Jerry had mentioned on Twitter, he didn't take a streaming contract. I think some others did the same. Free Hakan, please, for the next MTGO stream. Thank you, SCTR, for the very generous biddies. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. That's for Abzan Knights, I assume, SCTR. Oh, I can also trophy their star target. That's super funny and good to point out. Thank you for mentioning that. That's super true. Oh, you can't trophy your own permanents, Durf. That's also true. They'd have to be trophying, they'd have to be targeting their own land, which they're obviously not going to do. Seems great. Yeah, apparently the Twitch contract wasn't mandatory, which I thought was weird. But Twitch streaming's a lot of work. Like, I like doing this as my job, but this is easily the most consuming job I've ever done in my life. No, Wizards of the Coast doesn't give me anything. They're not my biggest fans. Yes, it is a massive commitment. I work somewhere between 60 and 80 hours a week most weeks. Between streaming and things I do off stream to make the stream happen. So, and again, that's not a complaint. I love what I do here. It's just like a statement of fact. If they don't have an answer to Regisaurs next turn like a counterspell, we're gonna get to smack them. That is correct, Kova. The 5 days that I spent going to the Invitational earlier this month dropped me 200 subscribers. Cast down, looking real awkward. Probably just gonna bin this. If they play the 660 bin next turn, I'm gonna be sad that I bin the cast down, but otherwise I think it's the right one. Do I have to wait until Patreon takes my money to join the Discord? Or is that with the wrong link on Patreon? I'm not sure about the details on the Patreon stuff, Chalky Chalkson. You can also hop into the Discord through here too, because you're subscribed on Twitch. Yeah, we're doing pretty well, Randy. The Dinos deck's been smashing people. If I want to just like slam into nerds, I'll probably play this on Tuesday. This is my favorite proactive deck in the format, I think. Just like plays a bunch of good cards and like is proactive. Hey, Gregor, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. So they could have a counterspell here. If they have a counterspell, would I rather lose Regisaur Alpha or Ripjaw Raptor to it? I think I'd rather lose Ripjaw Raptor. Remember, the Ripjaw Raptor has haste. Let's attack with both of these. Wonder if they have a Moment of Craving here. Dive down. Okay. That's pretty good. This card's so good in Standard, just incredibly flexible. Yeah, the dive down likely implies they have access to Doom Whisperer. They're gonna get to flip this next turn, which sucks for us. Oh, they get to flip this turn, actually, right? With the treasure tokens? Woof. And they just killed my Regisaur Alpha. All right, well, now they're not flipping it, so I've got that going for me. Lost my only other threat, though. Welcome to everybody coming in. We're up over 1,000 people since the World Cup ended. Hope everybody enjoyed that coverage. Having a good Sunday and a weekend wherever you're out in the world. So we're dropping in here today. What aggro deck do I like the most in Standard? I guess this is technically a ramp deck. I like this deck as far as like decks that are aggressively slanted go. I think as far as like pure aggression, probably the white splash red aggro. Yeah, Deckmaster's just dead and gone. There's a bunch of people in their Discord server talking about how it's not working, so I'm not the only one. I'm gonna hold on to this as a bluff. Thinning the land out of my deck is pretty marginal. I've liked Drover a lot. I think I'm probably gonna update the build on my website to something close to what this is today. Having 11 ramp spells feels really good. It adds a lot of consistency to the deck. Probably dead. I don't think we're beating a Niv Mizzet here. Needed a Carnage Tyrant sooner for that to be in the cards. Do you know offhand what language Deckmaster is written in? It's Electron Vu app, some kind of JavaScript amalgamation. Get to bring in a bunch of trophies and an Eldest Reborn here. Find Finality. Thrashing Brontodon doesn't seem very good. I wonder if I cut Drover in this matchup. Cutting some Drover seems fine. I don't think I want Duress in this matchup. I like Duress against the counterspell based control decks, but my opponent didn't actually show me any counterspells that game. They showed me a bunch of discard spells, and Duress is much worse against opposing discard spells. I do not play EDH. Oh, they did play a scatter. That's fair. I forgot about that. I'm gonna sit down again for a little bit, enjoy the ride. Oh, this hand is great. Would love a second ramp spell on you, but still plenty keepable. You don't put Llanowar Elves in your deck to not keep a hand that plays it on turn 1. Am I practicing for the tournament? I don't know. Aren't I always practicing for the tournament? All we do is play Constructed on this channel. They tap out for something silly like Disinformation Campaign this turn. Vivien Reid gets to come down and just hopefully bury them in magic cards. That's phenomenal.
Wild animals I like. People, not so much.
Wild animals I like, people not so much. I like a lot of the updates they did a lot. This breakdown over here is fantastic, and I love that it changes colors. That seems less than stellar. You go, just shoot your thing. Vivien's so good in a matchup like this. Yeah, I agree, Buzz. I was really impressed with the Sultai deck, with the fish deck. Sorry, untapped land, untapped land. Think they have a dive down here?
Meet my newest friend.
Beep, beep. Yeah, we've been playing mostly real decks so far. I think my MMR is back to a reasonable point. If they want to, like, kill Vivien next turn with Nick, like, I'm just going to play another Carnage Tyrant and put them deep in the ground. Tyrant is just so good against these blue-black X decks. They just don't have efficient answers to it. Like, Death Touch creatures, and that's it. You got me. You're dead on board. Excellent. Hasty boy. Do I want Brontodon to kill... Maybe Brontodon's better than Territorial. It comes down sooner and it kills. I'll just reborn. Buy that for $1. Big dumb dinos. Yep. Any way connected to Vanderbilt University? No. I am no longer teaching. The last time I taught a class was in February of this year. I started streaming full-time in March when things started picking up here. Found someone to cover the classes that I had and dove into this. Because believe it or not, teaching doesn't pay very well. No, I would never previously. I've taught for other schools, but never that one. Seems pretty good. To do this into this, into this. Universities pay so bad it's a B, but our university. It was funny. I remember having a conversation at one point with one of my coworkers there, because all the adjuncts basically work 2 jobs. And like, she was like, so what else do you do for work? And I was like, oh, I play video games on Twitch. And she goes, oh, so you're looking for another job? And I was like, no, I'm good. What's going on, Reaper? Welcome to a live one. So I don't want to burn this Find Finality on just one creature. So I'm gonna hang tight for a second here while they're stumbling. Yeah, the extension's dead this morning. Yeah, full-time faculty make okay money, White Ninja, but a lot of universities have moved away from using full-time faculty to using part-time people because they can pay them less. So if you can get a full-time tenure track position, like teaching pays fine, but a lot of places aren't giving full-time tenure track positions. Like people who adjunct full-time, like adjunct at multiple schools. Yeah, I'm from the United States. I live in the middle of the cornfields, like 2 hours south of Chicago. If you looked at the World Magic Cup, the World Magic Cup decks look like pretty stock standard as Jekyll Girl. There's a lot of just good decks in this format that don't have overlap with other decks. Streaming is a job for some people. It is a job for me personally. I'm gonna go ahead and hold this Dragonskull Summit in my hand because if my opponent plays another Nicol Bolas, I want to have that to discard. Look at that. Play well, get rewarded. Yeah, and like I was thankfully in the enviable position where like I didn't need the money from teaching, so like I was teaching just because I enjoyed teaching. Like my wife's always worked full time.
Beasts are much more reliable.
I worked as a systems analyst for a little bit for an insurance company, and then like when my oldest was born, I decided to stay home for a little while. Mathematics. I have a master's degree in math. A lot of intro math classes. Freshman type stuff. So if they have an untapped land here, they get to smack my Vivien Reid and then flip their Nicol Bolas, which would not be a good combination for me. I do not have any relation to the Hoagland Center for Performing Arts. That's unfortunate. Probably just gonna get dumpstered here. Need to draw a live one. That Finality was going to kill this Nicol Bolas, but it can no longer. I am a nerd. It is definitely the case. Dive down was a little brutal.
Okay.
Removal
so
spell. Eldest Reborn. I mean, I guess they don't have the 7th land yet, so like, if they don't hit that for a second, I have a minute before I have to answer this. Thanks, Lycomosh. Yeah, the feedback on the YouTube-only content has been a really resoundingly positive. Been really happy with it. Man, it was a dark time before I had what's it called? Before I had fiber internet. Sure. I don't understand why they're not flipping this, but I'll take it. Gives us a chance to draw a Vivien or an Eldest Reborn or a Finality here, and then just like be in a top deck race. And our deck top decks pretty well. We've got a lot of big dumb creatures in it. Bye, friend. Maybe it was better to uptick Vivien so she doesn't get killed on the swing back anytime. No, I want to take their Nicol Bolas out of play. If their Nicol Bolas stays in play, they're going to kill me very quickly. So getting rid of the Nick is my top priority. Find does not work for the Walker. I'd really like to draw Vivien so we can play her and kill this. Our deck, I mentioned our deck does have good average top decks in it, but when they have treasure map going, it's hard to keep up. All right, I mean, as far as top decks go, that one's pretty good. Ugh. Woof. Probably dead. They get to Eldest Reborn something back here too. Any thoughts on how good Grixis control is? It's fine except against this card. And like obviously I get that that's funny that I'm saying that while I'm currently dying to Grixis control, but the Grixis control's biggest issue in the format is it tends to struggle against Carnage Tyrant because there isn't a good black sweeper that kills Carnage Tyrant. And cards like Eldest Reborn and Plague Crafter, all the decks that play Carnage Tyrant tend to surround it with other creatures, so like making them sacrifice a Carnage Tyrant isn't something that happens terribly often. Like obviously it's not unbeatable, but it's not ideal. I'm gonna buy into Arena. What would your suggestion be for the first standard deck I put together? What archetype do you like to play, Larinax? There's a lot of competitive archetypes in this format. So if you tell me an archetype preference, I can give you a deck list. Yeah, the colorless lands are awkward, especially in a 3-color mana base, right? So like Detection Tower obviously gives you out to Carnage Tyrant, but it like is gonna lose you other games where you just like can't play your spells because it's a colorless land. But it went to 6. Boros, Guildgate, yep. How many packs to make the Jeskai control deck? Usually about $100, so 90 packs gets you most decks. Squee the Immortal. Okay. 4 mana Dinosaur was actually just the best draw in our deck there. You like mid-range and control. Well, either green, black, or Jeskai are like two top dogs in the format. And there's like infinite green-black decks, so I'd encourage you to just like look through recent results and pick one that looks sweet to you. I'm just going upstairs with these. If I get to curve into this Carnage Tyrant next turn, we're gonna get him. If they have a sweeper next turn, I'm gonna be sad. It's possible I'm supposed to play Vivien Reid here, just like play around a sweeper a little bit. Hey, Seth Boniface, thanks for the 4-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Ruinous Blast would be brutal too. That's true. That's a tapped land. They don't have a sweeper of any sort. Regisaurus is dead. You've killed him. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Is it possible you get turn 3 Carnage Tyrant with this deck? Yeah, you have to have three Llanowar Elves though, which is pretty unlikely.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
Oh, Elf, Drover Elf. That's true. Okay, so you see 3 ramp spells. That's fair. They probably blocked the trampling turn 3/3 because nobody realized this token has trample. I didn't even realize the token had trample the first couple matches we played. Just like Regisaur Alpha isn't a commonly played card. Yeah, right? Like nobody's played this card, right? This card's gonna be a format staple when we have Stomping Ground. This card's really good. I probably don't need 4 finds. Let's do it. I play Zakama EDH. I like the part where you ignore a card and kill them. Was that your favorite part, right? Yeah, honestly, I think one of the mistakes people make a lot of the time with aggressive decks in Standard and Magic in general is that like they focus on these planeswalkers instead of just like beating their opponent to death. I think it's great. Turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. I'm really excited to get the rest of the Shocklands to like unlock all of these tribes. We don't need a second red, so I have all my colors, so it just doesn't matter here. Yeah, vampires, knights, dinosaurs, merfolk, all these cards are like waiting for a couple of supplemental spells and better mana. Honestly, a lot of them don't even need supplemental spells, they just need better mana. So like when they get both, they're probably going to be very playable, which is super exciting. I'm going to trade here. If they want to trade and let me draw a card, I think that's fine. So like they can crack a treasure to make Llanowar be a 5/2, but I'm okay with that. The Merfolk deck is really good. We played 3-color Merfolk the other night and it was fantastic. Was super impressed with the deck. I think Jund Dinos is better than Naya, or approximately equal. I really like Find Finality. I feel like this archetype is like already decent against decks where Deafening Clarion is good. Yeah, Breeding Pool is gonna be sweet. I don't think any of the lower curve red dinos are very good. All right, so we've ramped them up into the meteorite. So if they have a meteorite, they're gonna clean my board out here. If they don't have a sweeper, we're in a pretty good spot. They dead? They're pretty close to dead, right? You consider not attack with Llanowar Elves to leave up Assassin's Trophy. Why would I do that? What am I playing around when I leave up Assassin's Trophy? I should probably play this deck on Tuesday. It's just so smorky. It's just so smorky. Yeah, the UI is really clean. It's a shame the extension's dead today. The extension is fantastic as well. They're having some kind of server issues. How's everyone doing? Welcome. I'm gonna chill for a moment. I haven't chilled yet today. Thanks everyone for hanging out today. Welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30, 40, 50 hours a week. I play pretty much nothing but constructed Magic on the channel. We play a ton of standard. We also play some modern on Magic Online. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. I love what I do here, but the reason I'm able to be here full-time as a job is because of the support from all of my wonderful subs. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their support. By subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. Lisa would like to get you on your way to a better night's sleep. Christy and I have been sleeping with Lisa for the last 6 months now, and we really love it. I don't think we'd ever go back. Traditional pillow top mattress. Neo creates a wonderful candy flavored protein bar using code Hoagland at bit.ly/HoogleBar. You can save 10% on your orders there with them. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG shingles using promo code Jeff5. You can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, Warhammer, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, you might hear my wonderful shuffling deck here. My shuffling deck is protected by none other than my BCW Elite Guard sleeves using code Jeff10 at bcwsupplies.com. You can save 10% on your orders of sleeves, deck box, and all sorts of other great stuff there with them. Remember, if you're enjoying my content, you can find all of my stuff on my website and my YouTube channel. Basically, everything that I stream here gets archived there, and I break it all up by decks. You can watch just the stuff that you care about. Why am I not playing Ranked Constructed? Because Ranked Constructed is like flipping a bunch of coins. It's not actually standard. It's this different weird standard format because it's best of one. I have Magic's got enough variance in it as is. I have no desire to play best of one Magic. Unfortunately, StepX, I cannot see the future, so I have no idea if they're going to print cards to support an archetype in the next set. Nice job. Yeah, I like that configuration a lot. Really just want to draw lands for the next 2 turns. So our ideal draws here would be a 4-drop Dino next turn and then land the 2 turns after that. Ranked Constructed no longer has best of 3. They removed it with the update earlier this week. Some kind of Karn brew over there. I think it's just normal ramp problems, Rolf. I feel like this archetype has the tools to be competitive against all the major decks. And it has draws that are just like run people over, right? Yeah, the tournament on Tuesday is best of 3, which is going to be awkward because the direct challenge mode doesn't support best of 3, which means that we have to like manually finagle best of 3 and like manually sideboard by saving deck lists and then like re-queue into each other until the correct person is put on the play. Get casual, turn 5, hasty Carnage Tyrant. Ready to smash? I'm ready to smash. The event on Tuesday is an invite-only streamer tournament being run by Twitch. You cannot pick who is on the play in best of 1. Best of 1, the choose to be on the play is only best of 3. It starts at noon Central Time, so I'll be streaming all day Tuesday. A 5-minute delay for the tournament.
Time to face me. Let's see how you manage.
How many players in the event? Somewhere between 32 and 64. No, everybody that's playing it is streaming it. Yeah, I have to submit my deck list Monday night to the people that are organizing the tournament. No, it's best of 3 because competitive Magic is best of 3. Yeah, it looks like they're playing Boros Control. And by playing Boros Control, I mean getting smitten by my angry dinos. This is a Deafening Clarion. They're dead to this Regisaur Alpha. Big dumb dinos. Bum 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 bum. Get him. Attack all. Nice Planeswalker. Smork, 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 smork. Smork, 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 smork. Do 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 do. Smork, 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 smork. And I'm just trading the Territorials and the cast downs for 4 trophies and calling it a day. This is a really good proactive deck. If you like this deck and you think it's sweet, I agree with you. This is one of the many decks that are sweet that you can find on my website, jeffhoagland.com. Click standard decks at the top. There are deck lists as well as embedded YouTube videos of all the times I've played those decks in the past. Noon Central is late in Europe. It's like 6 p.m. European time, right? You're 6 hours ahead of me. I'm still stuck here spending so much money on Virtual Cardboard. I barely remember a time before I saw this on a regular basis going out intangible. Thanks for the 29 months. This hand's probably not good enough, right? This doesn't have any ramp spells in it. It's like really good if we find a ramp spell, but otherwise it just like doesn't do anything till turn 4. This hand's much better. Yeah, that's fine. It's great actually. Turn 2, turn 3. Yeah, I think they renamed competitive to traditional because they want to try and push best of 1 as competitive. I might play this deck on Tuesday. I don't know yet. I don't have to submit my deck till Monday night, so got a little bit. It's probably this or Esper Amulet. Sure. You would play this over Esper? Yeah, probably, Bob. Just having draws that kill people is generally pretty good. You'll have to work really hard to play Amulet, which is like working hard is overrated. I agree. I think there's a very real chance that this initial best of 1 offering is because they just want to test the ladder system. So I'm not going to be too worried about it until they announce like the Pro Tour is going to be best of 1. I'm actually going to go ahead and make a mana here and then sacrifice this to shoot the treasure map. So that way they can't ramp up. I don't know, some of the leaked cards seem good. We don't even know what all the keywords mean yet, though, so it's hard to really know if they're going to be good, bad, or otherwise. I think I just want to find here. Pick Drover up. Do you have a team that I test decks with for competitive stuff? Nah. I play Magic pretty casually these days. So they're stumbling on lands, which means I'm just gonna go ahead and Brontodon and kill one of these Power Stone shards here. Try and keep them off of sweeping me. There's an updated version? Yeah, but we're trying out a few things. I think I'm gonna update the list on my website to this build later today. I like the Drover the Mighties a lot. They don't have all the details posted for the streamer tournament on Tuesday yet. Yeah, Drover's been really good. Concur. All right, wreck my settle, baby. Settle my wreckage. Come at me, bro. Oh, I guess they can activate this technically, right? Seal away, sure. Oh, this is a mistake. So if I would have played Carnage Tyrant pre-combat, I would have dealt more damage there, which is a big deal. We don't know any of the details about Standard Plus yet. The nice thing about this deck is you just like don't really care what your opponent's doing and you just like smack them with large dinosaurs, which is definitely part of the appeal to it. Just like ignore you, ignore you, ignore you, attack, attack. Isn't streaming with the chat like playing with a team that only consists of 50%? You think it's adorable that you think 50% of the people watching are competent? And like, even on the high end, if you wanted to consider 50% of the people in chat competent, the bigger issue is that a lot of those competent people aren't fully paying attention to the stream. So a lot of the advice that they're offering is like half-cocked advice, right? Like it's advice that like isn't relevant because they're not taking in all the variables. So like, I have no doubt that there's like a bunch of good Magic players in the audience, but like the number of people who only watch the stream and aren't doing anything else is very small in my experience. Like a lot of you are distracted while you're watching, right? Like you're doing other things too. You're not 100% focused on this. Dragonskull Summit 4 is a little bit awkward, but definitely here to keep this. Yeah, Twitch streams are background noise for a lot of people, which I actually think is one of the big reasons why Artifact has fallen so flat on its face. Dystopia, thanks for the 7 months, welcome back. Artifact isn't a game that you can really watch as background noise because you have to be really close keeping track of what's going on the board to know what's going on. How vocal people are is inversely proportional to their competency level. That's probably true to some degree as well. So really want to draw an untapped land here. That's unfortunate. We're gonna get like Ritualist next turn and die probably. No, rotation in Standard happens once per year. We won't rotate sets again until the fall. Nightveil Predator. That's an answer to Carnage Tyrant. Am I still playing Artifact? I'm not. I tried to play a bunch of Artifact, but I was snowed in Roanoke over that weekend. And it's just not a great game in my opinion. Just got a lot going on. Yeah, my hopeful goal through the end of the year, Scoobot, is to just like not browse Reddit anymore. I got rid of my Reddit account, but I was still browsing it with some frequency, and that was just a mistake. Hey, JMP, thanks for the sub gift. I appreciate it. I'm gonna attack with everything here. I assume they're trading here. I'll set up a proxy on your Wi-Fi to block Reddit. I deleted all of my Reddit stuff from my browser bar, so that way it doesn't auto-complete anymore. Nothing specific happened on Reddit, just like the normal rancidness that the website has. It's another Nightveil Predator, gross. Smork, 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 smork. Smork, 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 smork. Alright, their stuff's lined up really well here. Why did they... Do they not know their card has Death Touch? They must have copied their deck list off the internet and just like not know what their cards do. Like that's literally the reason to play Nightveil, right? Is that like its Death Touch kills the Carnage Tyrant? We're probably dead. Yeah. Hey, Scoobot, thanks for the bits. I appreciate it. Yeah, one of the things that makes playing Magic in a competitive sense really frustrating, coming from other things, is that because Magic has so much variance in it, it's very easy to write off anyone's results or like justify that you're good at the game if you want to, even if you're like constantly making mistakes, right? You know, like blame the shuffler, etc., etc. There's always a way to say it's not your fault in a game of Magic if you don't want it to be your fault. I'm gonna trim a ramp spell, I think, on the draw, or in general, post-board against control. Yeah, maybe Eldest should come in. It's possible I want 2 Eldest in my board. It definitely should come in here. It's a mistake not to board it in. We have no idea what Wizards of the Coast plans are for Arena. They do not have a public roadmap. This hand's a little bit awkward with double tap land, but if we draw an untapped land on 2, it's like absurd. I have 2 pair plus a card that gets creatures back from my graveyard. It's like in an okay spot here. There's a good chance that Wizards of the Coast doesn't even know what Wizards of the Coast plans are for a lot of things. They kind of seem like they're all over the place with a lot of stuff these days. And I think part of that is Hasbro likely saw the absurd numbers that Arena was getting, and they want to try and lean into that so they have people coming in and making decisions that weren't previously involved. If I had to venture a guess. And like, obviously that's speculation, but that's what I would guess. Based on WotC's action, other spaces that don't have a private roadmap either, you're not wrong, Bob. Sure. We have no more thoughts left, chat. They've all been removed. Nah, I don't think that's true, New Lexicon. For example, like, they announced a new paper Pro Tour schedule earlier this year, and then, like, completely went back on it with their Arena announcement. Is it possible to cast Goblin Chain Whirler and give it Death Touch? Yeah, you could retain priority and do that. It's definitely a legal play. Watch a lot of your stuff on YouTube. Thanks for putting up a got it. Thanks for watching, Queen. Welcome to a live one. It's a good note for everybody. If you enjoy my stuff and you want to see more of it after I'm done today, there's a ton of it on YouTube. Although don't go anywhere just yet, because I'm going to be streaming for another, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours today. Planning to do a longer one. Digging for lands here, it looks like. Still missing. Oh, is that a good one? That seems pretty good. If you hit Control plus Shift, you go into full control mode and can retain priority. Do I currently consider YouTube an experiment, or is it worth your time outside of the potential value? I think the current way I've got my YouTube set up is worth doing, Chucky. I'm not 100% sure if the YouTube exclusives are worth doing. So I'm gonna do that for the next month or so and see how things shake out. I definitely want this in my deck. I'm gonna trim this. I think there should probably be a second Eldest Reborn. I cut the second Eldest Reborn for this other Fine Finality, and I'm not sure that that was correct. Not sure exactly what I want to be doing with that there. Yeah, we're gonna be playing 4-color control up next. This is actually gonna be our last game. This is game 3 of this match with the Jund Dinos deck, and then we're gonna move into some 4-color control. You elaborate why cast down and no lava coil? Look at the mana base. The mana base is a lot more black land than red land because we have Overgrown Tomb and we don't have Stomping Ground or Blood Crypt. I'm gonna keep this on the draw. That's fine. Can grind him out a little bit. The YouTube exclusives are weird for me because you aren't interacting with anyone. Yay, magic. Sounds like the audio is starting to distort a little bit. I'm not gonna do a full shill because I just did a shill, but I'm gonna kick arena and restart it here really quick. Hand was great, obviously. Let's give this a reboot here real quick. The latest arena update, it doesn't, the client doesn't crash for me anymore, but it has a memory leak, so I have to manually restart it every once in a while. Just software things. As far as Jund dinos go, this is not something I'm going to do on stream here, but my takeaway from this build for a short wrap-up is that I really like Drover the Mighty. This card was good at attacking as well as just like being mana fixing and having additional ramp. I'm not sure how I feel about the sideboard. I need to basically like go through the sideboard and think like, okay, against Jeskai, I'm bringing in these cards and cutting these cards. Against mono red, against mono white, against mono blue, I'm bringing in these cards and cutting these cards. I need to see how all those matches line up because I think I'd like to fit a second Eldritch Reborn in here, but I'm not actually sure if like the way things line up in the Jeskai matchup warrants doing that. All right, so what do we do next?